Hi people, today we're going to be talking about this book, The Nobleman's Guide to Scandal and Shipwrecks by Mackenzi. And it's the third one in the series, and I'm going to show you here a bit of all the other ones. We had the first one, which I completely love. I didn't expect to love this one as much as I did. It was The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. Then we had the little novella. First it got published like in a Kindle format, and then we got it in paper. The second one was of the sister Felicity, and it was The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy. And lastly, we got The Nobleman's Guide to Scandal and Shipwreck. Obviously, all of us that had read the first two books knew that this was the Goblin. Yeah, this was when Felicity and Monty were still living with their parents. They had this sibling, which I think Monty especially hated him more than Felicity. And they called him the Goblin. And it was like, they kind of hate him because, Monty was beaten, by his father. And Felicity was always told that she was not going to be able to study and to be what she wanted to be because she had to marry off and all of that. And their father seemed to dote onto the Goblin, Adrian. It was like he was the perfect kid. Obviously, he wasn't even talking yet. So it was like, okay, So for us, seeing him having grown up and having his own book, it was amazing and it was very exciting because we didn't knew that we were going to have like a third book of this series. And also, it was very exciting because he's going to meet with his siblings. And it's like 20 years or something like that have passed. So we're going to see Monty as an older version of himself and Felicity. And we're going to meet with all the characters that we have met in the first two books. And that for me was amazing. Monty remains to this day my favorite character because he seemed to be very sardonic, like devil may care attitude, and he seemed like he didn't give a fuck. And the thing is that he was protecting what was inside him because society had treated him unfairly because and especially his father, who used to insult him, derail him, tell him that he wasn't worth it, and even punch him, breaking his face more than once and all of that. So Monty was a sardonic, ironic character that was trying to cover up this feeling of inadequacy that he had in himself. Because as I was saying, he was always being told that he wasn't enough, and plus he liked guys. So it was like he was very frowned upon by society and by the world world. The nobleman's world in which he moved. So for me, he was an amazing character. Felicity as well was amazing to read because, in the first book, we see her from Monty's point of view, but when we discover what she thinks, what she feels, it's amazing. And having a woman wanting to be taught and wanting in turn to teach and to be a doctor in period in history in which it wasn't even allowed to have women in class because they will distract the other males. It's something similar to happens nowadays when you have a girl who, dresses in a certain way and they are sent to the principals because the guys get distracted. It's like, what? We are in the 21st century. Okay. And here we are going to have Adrian, who I wasn't expecting to love as much as I did, but he is an amazing member of the Montague family. And I have to say that I love him. And this book is very special to me because it talks about mental health. At the very beginning, we have this character of Adrian who is suffering from a very severe form of anxiety. He is handing pamphlets with his fiancée, but he doesn't dare to approach anyone, and he began thinking maybe it's going to rain, maybe everyone hates me, maybe I'm not dressed up to the occasion, maybe my girlfriend will think that I am a lost cause. And when you have anxiety and you have all these intrusive thoughts that make you doubt yourself, it was like I love to see this depiction of anxiety and obsessive compulsive disorder that Adrian has. Maybe sometimes it felt like so much, but sometimes anxiety feels like so much, and it makes you self-doubt and overthink. And I should have stopped and talked to these people, or were they expecting me to move on, or what they will think about me. So having this character going through all these emotions, it was amazing. there were times in which I think that he was also suffering from some form of depression because he didn't feel like waking up or leaving the bed or taking care of himself. Also, that can happen with anxiety too. But I did love that we have in the first 2 books the journey. Obviously, it's a journey of the characters, of accepting who they are and learning to to love the people around them and love themselves and change and evolve and finding their own ways. And also we have the fantastical journey, the adventures that they go through with Monty, with that heart inside the woman and all of that, Felicity with the piercing. And Adrian has this token that belonged to his mother. And it ties to some fantastical ship story. I'm not going to say much about it. You have to read the book. And I love that we have this kind of journey that, you have the journey of the person, Adrian in this case, who has always been like thinking that he's defective because he feels in a different way, his brain works in a different way, and he's always been told to grow up, to snap off of it. And also we have the fantastical journey in which he's going to try to discover if that token that his mom left behind, if it had some meaning, if she could have been safe. And it's an amazing story, fantastical story about a ship, a ghost ship, and yeah, I love that. And I love that at the ending, it's going to be spoiler free, but you can think wherever you want. You can go with a logical explanation and you can go with a fantastical one. And I love that you get to choose which way you want to go. And as I was saying, for me, this book was very special because of the treatment it has of mental illnesses and anxiety and OCD, and also talks about the asylums and the places where people who suffer from this kind of maladies back in the day in which anxiety wasn't even conceived as an illness. They drill holes in the heads, they put them in shocking cold water, they did all kinds of abuse, and especially I don't know if in the book it says that, but it was even harder in women because they were told that they were hysterics. Something that still happens nowadays. It's easier to get medical treatment if you're a guy than if you're a girl. So yeah, it's sad to think that we haven't changed as much as we probably should as a society, but okay. Going back to the book, mental health, this double journey about physical journey where they're going in this adventure and this journey inside of self-growth, acceptance, and being able to say, I need help, and trying to rewire your own brain and to set this intrusive thoughts. And there was something that I read about anxiety that sometimes we say, I'm sorry, constantly. And I was told that try to say thank you instead. Instead of saying, I'm sorry, I'm late, say thank you for waiting, or things like that. And it's something that appears in the book, and for me it was like, look, yeah, Mackenzi Lee knows what she's talking about. Also, as I said, those things were fantastical in this book, but the characters were amazing. And as I say, it was a joy to see all characters, and not only Monty and Felicity, but Sim and Sad and Georgie and Henry. Henry's the father. It was nice to see that all 3 of his sons and daughter hate him equally. So yeah, poor man. Well, and I think that he deserves it. Okay, so yeah. And yeah, it was amazing to see all the characters, and Percy, obviously, Percy is an amazing character too. And I did love to see how they began to form this relationship between them. Because at the beginning, Monty is very dismissive. He doesn't want to talk with Adrian. He wants him gone. He doesn't want to accept him. It's like, I knew that you existed. I didn't want anything to do with you. So what makes you think that I will travel with you, or I will talk with you, But I love how, as you keep on reading, they began to, to tolerate each other, to accept each other, and to see that they are like family. And I love this concept. Also, Felicity, when she appears in the book, yeah, she's going to appear. I love her, what she has come and how amazing she is. And yeah, if you have read the first 2 books, you're going to love the third one. If you have read anything from Mackenzi Lee, you should, because the 3 Nobleman's and Lady guides are amazing. And she has another book called The Monstrous Thing or something like that. That's like a Frankenstein retelling, which I love. She also has a Loki one. And one that I didn't like as much as the rest of them about Gamora and Nebula. But yeah, probably because they are not my favorite characters. But yeah, I mean, pick one of her books because she's an amazing writer. And yeah, for me, this trilogy has been amazing, and we need to have the sons and daughters write new ones, new guides. The Nobleman's sons and daughters, or something like that. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye.